Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. And today I'm going to install the hub, the vibration damper, the V-bell pulley, and the front crankshaft seal. Here's the instructions for installing the seal, and I'll have a link in the description to the manual. But other than that, I think the way that I want to start this video is I'm taking some clips from earlier from when I tore down the engine and when I removed the seal. So you guys can see how I removed the front pulley and how I removed the seal, so that way there, as I install it, it's a complete video. So I don't want to really waste any more time than that, but the future, you guys, is going to be installing, there's going to be doing the timing and putting the sprockets on, the chain, the upper guides. So we still got quite a bit of work left to do before we get this thing all closed up. But with that, I don't want to waste any more time. I just want to get into this video. I've got some other things I need to get done today. So until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, now here's what we got to pay attention to. All right, I have 4 shims. Okay, so we'll set that here. I think it's coming out, right? Now the whole thing's loose. All right, let's take this off. Oh, that's heavy. There's the seal. So, I think I can get in here. Not that. Something like that, maybe? How far in am I? Don't want to be too far in, right? Oops. Oh, it came. That was not too difficult. So I'm surprised. That's it. And we didn't do any damage or anything, so that's it. It looks like it's fully intact. The spring was still on it. Probably was doing its job. So that's how I removed the seal and front pulley. And now we're ready to install it. So these are all the things that I'm going to use to install this front seal. This is the tool, which I'll talk about in a minute, for pressing the seal on. The 27mm nut or socket for our front nut and washers. Set those aside. I will be using this grease right here because the manual says right there, prior to installation, the space between sealing and dust lips of the radial sealing ring must be filled with long life grease according to that spec sheet. So looking at the spec sheet and seeing what it's all about, this is the grease that I can use for that. So the sealing ring, I'm going to pull this one out. What they're talking about is this inside part right here, right inside of here. So it's a little dust lip on here, and then they want you to fill this little gap. Now, I don't know if I'll necessarily fill it, but I'll put some grease in there. The petroleum jelly will be for the outside of the seal, and I'll put it on the inside of that lip right there as well, right on the inside of that. All right, so that's the petroleum jelly and the grease. And I'll be putting a little bit of oil. That's all this is just the same oil that I'm using in the vehicle. I'm going to put a little bit on the threads here. The manual doesn't talk about using any kind of Loctite or anything like that. But you'll see, and I don't know if this is significant or not, But every one of these have this little dot or seal on it. It looks like they all face towards the alley. Every single one of them have that seal. See that? But what I want to do is I want to lubricate the washers in the back side of this, right? So that way there, when we're torquing it down, we don't have that resistance. We get a good torque. I won't be torquing it today because we have to put on a special thing on the back of the flywheel or driven plate, but I'm going to lubricate that, and that's what that's for. Now I want to just do a quick little talk about the sealing rings. I've already talked about this before. This is genuine Mercedes. This is what they call a repair seal. And it's the only one they sell now because everything needs to be repaired. Right? I mean, it's not new. Although, you can buy the original. That's what this is. This is the original sealing ring. And the way that, what you'll notice here is the difference in thickness right off the bat. So now let's talk about that thickness and why this is different. You can actually use this ring if you want. I'm going to use this one. I prefer this one. Now, even though this says genuine Mercedes, it came from Mercedes. I ordered it from Mercedes. But the manufacturer, again, is the L ring. Same manufacturer as this one here. Okay, so if you can buy this one as an L ring, you can just go ahead and do that. Now, the difference is, can you see the difference? This has got this little dust, what they call a dust shield. See that? That little dust shield is going to face up. But that prevents you from sliding this in too far. It'll only slide up to the edge of the front timing cover. This one, you can offset it. And the reason for that offset is this. You see that little, I can't catch it with my fingernail. But the original ring that sat on here, just like that, wore that groove in there. So that, like I said, that little ring was because of the seal, and it wore a little groove in it. Now mine, it's not really worn into it, so I could probably use that, but I prefer to use this one because it's thicker, and it will go on farther. And that's what this is designed to do, is to offset this automatically. Normally what you would do is you would take this special tool. It's a Miller 9101. I've talked about this before, but I just thought I'd do it right now since this is all about the front seal and pulley. This here has this little step bridge. Do you see that little step on this one side? And it's flat on this side. And the reason for that is if you were going to install this, then this part right here would end up hitting the case and prevent you from going any farther, right? So if you don't have any wear ring on your pulley there, then you can use that. Otherwise, you would flip this during the installation. And now this allows, because of this lip, this is what's going to end up being held first, right? See if I can show it, but this lip right here is going to hit the block. But you notice the offset from that. It's about 3 millimeters or so. So that allows that now to offset this to where that seal ring will not wear on the same spot. So it's just an offset, okay? With this one, we don't have to worry about it. We're going to use the regular size edge because we're just going flat, just like that. All right, and then this has actually got a lip. If you can see that clearly, I think. You can see this right here and that right there. Right? So this will only go on so far. And that is what we want to do. Now, on the inside, I put a little mark. I'm just going to turn it this way so I can see it. So in that pulley, there's the keyway. So I put a white line right there. Okay, this is going to help me when I go to push this on, and I'll show you what I mean. If you look at there, I also put a white line. So when I go to install this front pulley, that's exactly what we'll see. All right? So you can just line that up and push it on nice and easily. All right, I'm going to first put the grease on the inside of that, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some Vaseline or petroleum jelly on the outside of this and on the inside of that, but I'm going to first wipe my hands. Just a little bit of petroleum jelly. All right, I'm just going to put it on my finger here and wipe it on the inside here. Just so we don't put it on dry. Petroleum jelly will immediately just turn into liquid. It's not high temperature or anything like that. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the outside of this. All right, so they're all ready to go. And I'll just set this on here. And we'll twist it until I get it perfectly level there. All right, I put just a small amount of grease, the exact same grease that I put on the inside of that. And then this tool has a little notch. Now that's for a keyway, you know, for the woodruff key. It's not going to ever hit that woodruff key, but I'm going to use that as a guide anyways and just line it up with that. So this is the flat side, not the offset side. So I will stick that on there, just like that. And now we'll get our nut on there. All right, I've lubricated this, so it's ready to go. Not actually, you know, for this you don't have to lubricate it, but I did anyways. And, you know, you can pretty much almost just turn this in by hand. Let me get my wrench. That's as far as I can go by hand. Let's switch cameras. So there we are. That's how much I pretty much did just by hand. And now we'll go ahead and just bring her in. That's it. She's fully seated. And there you go. I might want to re-lubricate that a little bit. All right, I made sure that that's lubricated. And I also lubricated just this, right? The part that's going to touch the seal with the same grease. Now, I'm going to take that keyway right there, and I'm going to line it up on my marks. I'm going to switch to the other camera here because I'll be in your way as I line this thing up. But I'm just taking that line, you know, that I put on there, and I'm lining them up just like that. That's it. Now I'll take my lubricated bolts, or bolt and washers. So I felt that slide right in past the, right past that. So I'm just gonna snug it up. I'm not really tightening. Just gonna snug it up for now. There we go. Well, look at that. Our timing was set, right? Because we set that when we installed all the guides and everything. So I would say that that's a pretty good install. So that's how I installed the vibration damper and the V-pulley and the rear or the front main crankshaft seal. May not be how you do it, but that's how I did it. And if you guys stick with me and subscribe, and when we get ready to start this vehicle, we'll find out if my methods worked. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching.